Welcome to Biology My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. We are now learning the chapter, the fundamental unit of life. We discussed different parts of the cells and now we are discussing the cell organelles. In the previous video, we discussed the first cell organelle, endoplasmic reticulum. Today we are going to discuss three organelles together, that is Golgi apparatus, lysosome and vacuoles, because they are interrelated. So let us see what is Golgi apparatus. So the name came from the scientist who discovered it, that is Camillo Golgi. So Golgi apparatus, it's called a Golgi bodies or Golgi apparatus because it is consisting of several components. So mainly we will see parallelly arranged sac-like structures. So though we are drawing like this, they are like bags, okay, half bags you can say. You know, when you are opening the flap of your bag, how it is inside. The same way, without that flap, 3, 4 are arranged parallel to each other. We call it as cisterns or cisternae in Latin. Cisterns is the plural. Okay, so these cisterns are like bag-like structures and they have certain other sac-like structures near them, and that they are called vesicles. They are single membrane bound structures. So actually these are all getting detached from this main bag-like structure called as cisterns. So Golgi apparatus usually we see associated with endoplasmic reticulum. We already learned two types of endoplasmic reticulum. Near them you will find Golgi apparatus also because their functions are correlated. We learned so many biochemical reactions are taking place on the surface of endoplasmic reticulum, including protein synthesis in the ribosome, right? These proteins manufactured are used for various purposes in the body. Some will become hormones, some will become enzymes, some will be used for membrane process, or some are acting as a carrier proteins, or some are acting as signaling proteins, or some will be building blocks. So various functions are there. So for different functions, these proteins have to be modified. So those parts, that is modification part is happening, then storage, everything happening in the Golgi apparatus. So to understand this better, we can consider like a factory. You imagine a factory where a pickle is made. So we know the raw materials are there. Every factory has a ground where the initial or the product synthesis is happening, manufacturing is happening. So in the manufacturing unit, what will you see? A lot of people will be there. A group of people will be cutting the vegetables needed or whatever is needed for making the pickle. And there will be other people making the other ingredients like chili powder or everything what is needed. They know the recipe well. So they mix everything and they send it to the next section for packaging. So their duty, the people working in the packaging section, they make it most attractive by changing the shape of the bottle or whatever way they can present it in the best way to catch the attraction of the customers. So they don't know about the manufacturing part. They are filling it up in the jars. But along with that, what do? They will be adding preservatives to keep it for a long time. So usually vinegar, oil, all these things are being added. So modification is happening there. Storaging is happening there, right? Packaging is happening there. And then it will be sent to the next section. That is the dispatch section. From there, that will be taken to different destinations, different supermarkets, wherever they could sell it. Now if you compare this, the manufacturing unit or the ground was endoplasmic reticulum, where so many chemicals produced. Those chemicals were shifted to the packaging unit, that is our Golgi apparatus. So transport of materials from endoplasmic reticulum takes place through the Golgi apparatus. And Golgi apparatus is responsible for packaging, modification and storage. First they will collect it, store it, and they will modify the protein according to the need of the cell, whether it should be an enzyme or it should be in the form of a hormone, whatever it is. And packaging, how will they package? Detaching from this, that is little bit will come to this membrane. That membrane will get rid of that. That is the membrane will detach from that and form these vesicles. These vesicles are filled with the products, right? Then Sometimes they make, that is modification part, they make simple sugars into complex sugars. Simple sugars means the monosaccharides like glucose, fructose, etc. But the cell may have to store the glucose in the form of glycogen or starch. We know in plants it is starch, animals it is glycogen. So depending upon the need, complex sugars are made, or cellulose is a complex sugar, starch is a complex sugar. Okay, then another function is to form yet another organelle called a lysosome. We will learn about lysosome now. So these are the different functions of Golgi apparatus. The next organelle we are discussing is lysosomes, which are actually forming from the Golgi apparatus. They are detaching from Golgi apparatus, filling all the enzymes produced there. That is, they contain digestive enzymes which were actually produced in the rough endoplasmic reticulum, because enzymes are proteinaceous in nature and they have a single membrane structure. Then they are called the waste disposal system of the cell. Why? Because they help to keep the cell always clean by killing the foreign bodies coming inside the cell or the worn out cells. Sometimes we may have entry of pathogens in our body like bacteria, or some food materials can be there, or some worn out cells, the damaged cells. So they can clean all these unwanted things by secreting certain enzymes into them, because they contain lot of digestive enzymes. So these digestive enzymes will digest and clear everything. And also they can break down, since they have enzymes, the complex sugars. Just now we told that in the Golgi apparatus, simple sugars are made complex. Now it is time for breaking up. So complex sugars are broken down into simple sugars so that the cell can easily use them or remove them. Then when the cell is getting disturbed or cell is damaged, immediately the cell has to be destroyed, or else it will affect the whole system. So in that particular condition or scenario, these lysosomes will rush to that area where it is damaged and they will burst themselves, because there is no opening through which they can secrete the enzyme. They literally have to break open in order to release those enzymes out, which will clear the surrounding area. So for the purpose of cleaning the cell, these lysosomes are bursting themselves. So they are called suicide bags of the cell. So you can get a question, which organelle is known as the suicide bag of the cell, which is the lysosome. The next organelle we are discussing is vacuole. Vacuoles are also formed from Golgi apparatus. Just like how lysosomes form, these are also getting detached from them, keeping a lot of things inside. Lysosomes contain all digestive enzymes exclusively, but here they contain solid as well as liquid contents of the cell, mainly for storage. Whatever the cell has to store, cell will keep it in this bag. Okay, so the cells vacuoles may vary in size and shape. In animal cells, if you look at that, you will find a lot of vacuoles, small vacuoles storing things. Whereas when it comes to plant cell, it occupies the entire central region of the plant. Maybe 50% to 90% of the central part of the plant cell is occupied by our vacuoles. As a result, nucleus is pushed to one side. Why do plants need such a big vacuole? Because inside that there is some liquid called a cell sap. That means all the substances to be stored are all just mixed in that kind of liquid. It is just like a consistency of soup, you imagine, like that. Many things are dissolved in it. And why is it important for plant? Plants don't have any skeletal system, so each cell has to support the plant. So if there is a kind of vacuole in the center, and if it is filled with something, the cell will be turgid. Turgid means completely filled. Imagine if you are blowing a balloon. If a little bit air is there, it is not that rigid, but you will make it rigid by filling it maximum with air. Okay, that condition is called a turgidity. So that will give a strength to the plant body and rigidity also to the plant. And what do they store inside? They store certain substances like amino acids. Amino acids are nothing but the simplest form of proteins, because amino acid molecules are joining together to form proteins. Then sugars, different types of sugars. Then organic acids. Organic acids means natural acids like tartaric acid, oxalic acid, malic acid and all found in plants. Whereas you will learn in chemistry about very strong acids like hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, sulfuric acid. They are from the earth crust. These are the organic acids or the natural acids. Then some proteins are also stored there. But when it comes to animals, they have many small vacuoles. But in unicellular organisms like amoeba, they have specialized vacuoles called food vacuoles, in which the food they consume will be there. In the first video, I explained endocytosis. There we learn how the food vacuole is forming. So, apart from that, some unicellular organisms, in amoeba it is there, other organisms also, they have something called a contractile vacuoles. Means the vacuoles which have the ability to contract. So, in case of plant cells, we learned cell wall protects it from bursting if it is in the hypotonic solution, right? Whereas in animal cells, they don't have a cell wall, but still they are not bursting. Why? Because of this contractile vacuole. They will take the excess water coming inside the cell and squeeze it out through the contractile vacuoles. Actually, these four organelles, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, lysosomes and vacuoles are interlinked with the membranous system. Okay, so usually we call them as endomembrane system. That's forming a membrane system within the cell. Hope you understood the lesson well. The rest two organelles we will learn in the coming videos. If you like my videos, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, Biology My Passion.